Well, that was a long 1 minute because it is Sunday now. and yeah, so we had some people come over, so we didn't get a chance to finish our video for yesterday. But I did do some cleanup, and I want to show you show you guys some stuff about the tomatoes that we have going, some things that we're not going to do. Uh, I don't really think I gave you like the informative kind of things about the tomatoes that I've been promising all season. I'll kind of do a little bit of it right now, but did some more cleanup. As you can see, the melons, they all got the wilt, and there's a little one over there, but I think I was able to pull a few out. Look, there we go. Are they down there? Yeah, look at that. Anyway, so saved a few. I think we yielded about 8 or 9 melon out of all of this, and I guess that's all right. That's fine. Still got our pumpkins going. Got one on. There's one on over there. And I think that's about all we're going to get this year. There's another one over on the other side where the bees are. But looks like the bugs have been getting at it. But just trying to do some cleanup. Again, like I mentioned yesterday, we're going to lay some leaves down tonight or tomorrow morning when I start collecting them from people cutting their lawns for the weekend. But there's some of our pumpkins that we pulled out that have been nice and orange for quite some time now, and some of the sides are getting a little soft, so we'll just leave them there. I think I'm going to throw them out to the deer unless John wants to take them. But our orange currants, yeah, look at this. So let's see if I can get a good focus on here. I'm sorry, I got a little nasal thing going on here. I was pulling weeds about 5-10 minutes ago, and I just got into a sneezing fit, so allergies definitely kicking out here for some of the stuff that's out here. But look at this. My apologies. All right, see if we can get a good focus on that. Yeah, there we go. Nope. I'm using my gimbal, you guys, for the first time or second time this year. So try and get a good focus on that. I can't really tell from the screen because it's so difficult to see in the outside here in the light. But anyway, these are the orange currants. I've got like 8 of them here. They are just nuts. I think I'm just gonna start pulling off at like the stems and then just pulling them off like grapes. I mean, literally that's about all you can do. You'll probably throw away maybe like 10 or 20% of them on the vine, or save them and hopefully that they ripen up. But that's about the only good way to get them. But they are one of the smallest tomatoes, if not the smallest tomato variety in the world, I think. Don't exactly know where they come from or yield from or how they were created, but considering their size, I'm thinking they're probably one of the original tomatoes. I could be wrong. We got just a cherry tomato bush here. This one was given to us by a friend, and we put it in there at the beginning of the season because we had one of our cucumbers die, like I mentioned a million times. But here's how we're doing this week. Man, look at that. I always come to this plant. Love this one. This yellow pear is just massive. We've let this thing grow, and then after a while we stop pruning it and just let it just kind of bush out, and it's just amazing. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Look at that sunflower. It's one of those multi-head sunflowers. We did not plant this one. We just saw it coming up, so we left it like we always will for the sunflowers. We'll never pull them because we absolutely love them. Thing I want to mention, so yesterday after I got off here with you guys and gave you guys the tour of the gardens down the street, I pulled out more zucchini. They literally just needed to come out, and I'm going to pull the rest of these out. There's a couple on here that are maturing still. The zucchinis are still growing. They're still budding. They're still flowering. So I will leave them in, but I pulled a couple more out yesterday. As you can see, this whole area over here is just blank. So that's going to be good. Then we'll start covering that land up. And we have a mole. I think I mentioned that before. So kind of stuck the hose down one of its holes, trying to flush it out, but still haven't been able to catch it. John's successfully killed like 3 moles in the past couple of years. That's just, I mean, you step in a mole hole, it's like the worst. You fall down and you almost twist your ankle. We did some deep watering yesterday, so I'm going to talk about some deep watering stuff real quick, and the problems we have with deep watering and those mistakes we make with deep watering. So what is deep watering? So deep watering is when you take the hose, you don't really like, I I don't put a sprinkler head on or anything. I'll just take the hose and I'll dump it right by the root, or like a couple feet by the roots of the plant, and let it go for like a good 30-40 seconds, and let they get that a ton of flood of water just in there and kind of just soak those roots. That's perfect when it gets hot like this, because you definitely don't want water from a sprinkler on the leaves of any of your plants, especially the tomato ones, because they're so delicate during a heat like this, right? It's 90 degrees this morning. I think it's only like 11 o'clock in the morning. What'll happen is those little droplets, before they dry, if you don't have a good breeze, those droplets will just sit right on the edge and tips of those plants, and they'll act like one of those nice little magnifying glasses and burn your plant leaves out really good. We've already got enough problems with blight. I don't need leaves getting ruined and stems getting ruined because we decided to water that way. But one of the things that we did learn, or have learned here, about deep watering in this garden is that the way that I've set things up here, to where I've put a ton of grass over top of everything for probably every single week or so since we started the garden, you will find out that you're not sitting on steady ground anymore sometimes. So what'll happen is, as you can see with this one here, I had to prop it up. Get the focus on there. There we go. Had to prop it up. It starts to lean. There's a couple of them that were leaning really bad because we watered them. I don't know if it's I think it's a partial between the soft ground there with all the grass that we have and how it decomposes, and just kind of the ground is just not stable anymore, and the moles, right? Like, I know there's at least 2 or 3 in here, and I think that's probably the majority of what's causing it and makes them become unstable. That's one of the things we've learned. So next year I've got a great idea for a tomato cage that is going to be far superior than these right here, and I think I might do a video on it maybe over the winter, but it is going to be phenomenal the way that this thing's going to be built, because I'm going to make a modular tomato cage, and it's going to be a different size than the standard ones that we have made in this year, which are these right here. It's like 14 by 14. I'm going to make them like this again, the wider ones, and that's my bad for putting this on a San Marzano where it wasn't needed. But we're going to do like 18 across on each side. And then what we're going to do is drill holes in the center right here. I'm going to make them about this tall. And then I'm going to make some companion cages that will have the same hole on the bottom. So each one of these will have a hole here and a hole on the bottom where the legs are. And I'll have like a dowel or a piece of steel rod to where you can just set it right down in there. And as the plant grows and it starts to get out of control because you didn't build your cages tall enough, like I didn't, you can sit another cage right up on top of there, and you can either like lock it in somehow, figure that. Either we'll use like a pull clamp to lock them in on 1 or 2 sides, or simply just zip tie them together, but they should be stable because all 4 sides will have rods going through them. Should be simple enough. I just got to find something that's not going to rust. So that'll save us from doing what I did, that the rig job right here of just trying to extend some of this so I can get these things to stand up a little bit. But effectively, I want to get cages that are about 7 feet tall, especially for, not for all varieties, but specifically for the cherry tomatoes and the yellow pears, because they're the ones that just get tall. They get huge. So we'll definitely start working on those over the winter. Another thing with deep watering, this right here. Show it to you. Splitting. Come on. It's so hard because I can't focus at the same time with my finger on the phone. But deep watering will cause splitting, a great amount of splitting. I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about right here. And I'll show you the different degrees of splitting. Grab a few of these and I'll show you what's going on. Maybe we can single out some. So this one in my thumb right here, that split a while ago and it's just started to rot. This one right here in my index finger, that one just split. So what's going on with that is it just happened recently. So that's no good anymore. And then here's, let me throw those down. They are no good. This one split a while ago because you can start to see the edges have dried out around it. And it was either from yesterday from the watering when they burst is probably when that happened. But we pulled, I think I was just working for like 5-10 minutes this morning, and I will show you what we pulled out of the garden when it comes to the cherry tomatoes. Look at that. How gorgeous those are. Got the yellow pear, got some currants over there to the left. The rest of these are black cherries in that corner somewhat, but the regular cherry tomatoes have kind of taken over the rest of that, and I got 2 indigo rose in there. So the indigo rose, let's take a look. So indigo rose, oh man, I can tell the camera's getting hot because it's starting to jitter. It really sucks. So the indigo rose is a very, very like pitch black tomato, and then it ripens and it gets red on the bottom, which is really cool. Just so happens next to us are the Tiny Tim tomatoes that we will not be planting next year. They are a determinate tomato, so they're very small, they're bushy, and they're super inconsistent with their yield. I'll show you an example of what both of these came off of a Tiny Tim. One of them's huge for a cherry tomato, and the other one's like itty bitty. So we will not be planting these next year. Thank God I only had 2 of them. So yeah. But let me see, what else did we pull off this morning? Let's see, we have some ox hearts that are over there ready, but oh, our mortgage lifter tomato, look at that. How big that boy is. The size of my hand. That thing's got to weigh over 1.5 pounds. But we had one plant that was a mortgage lifter. We lost the other one to the gopher at the very beginning of the year. And let's see what else. This is probably going to be the balance of the zucchini that we pull out for the year. I think I got like 10 of them here. And then we've got some sunrays. And we got some beautiful Cherokee purples, which are probably one of my favorite tomatoes. Not that I eat them, but you open these things up and they're just like burgundy all the way through. And they're just, the veins and the lines inside the tomato are just gorgeous. So if you're ever going to make, or you like the large variety of tomatoes that are very juicy or watery, I would go with those. I recommend those 100%. And they look beautiful, and I'm told they taste great. Tabasco, waiting for those to come in. Oh, waiting for them to turn color. So the tag says that they're going to stay this color, but I don't believe it, because everything I've read, they turn orange and turn red. So we haven't touched them yet. I've been doing some watering on them, making sure that they're taken care of, but we're going to wait a little bit. And our jalapenos are coming in great. We're almost done with those. These miniature bell peppers are pretty damn cool. And our Carmens have come in great. We pulled a bunch of them off. Some we've waited to turn red. Others are getting scorched by the sun, kind of like that